Picture this. You've just murdered your own family in a fit of madness. Your hands are covered in their blood. And the only way to redeem yourself? Complete 12 impossible tasks that were literally designed to kill you. This is the story of Hercules, and trust me, it gets way darker than any Disney movie ever showed you. Hercules was supposed to rule. Zeus himself declared that his grandson would inherit the throne of Mycenae. But Hera, Zeus's wife, wasn't about to let some illegitimate son steal the spotlight. She manipulated the birth order so that Hercules' cousin Eurystheus would be born first, stealing the throne that should have been his. So instead of becoming king, Hercules ended up serving a man he knew was beneath him. And when Eurystheus started ordering him around, Hercules went to the oracle at Delphi, hoping for a way out. The oracle told him something interesting. Every labor he completed would chip away at the power Eurystheus stole from him. But here's where it gets tragic. While Hercules was dealing with this news, Hera saw her chance. She planted madness in his mind like a poison seed. Hercules started hallucinating monsters everywhere, fighting battles that didn't exist. When the madness finally lifted, he found himself standing over the bodies of his wife and children. He'd killed them with his own hands. The guilt crushed him. He went into exile, drowning in depression in distant lands. But eventually, time did what time does, and he decided the only way to cleanse himself was to return and serve Eurystheus. Maybe completing these labors could wash away the blood. Eurystheus wasn't stupid. He knew Hercules was dangerous, knew his reputation was growing. So for the first labor, he sent him after the Nemean lion, a beast with skin so thick that arrows just bounced right off. People were terrified of this thing. It had developed a taste for human flesh after eating a few unlucky travelers. Hercules tracked it to a cave filled with bones and skulls. When he shot an arrow at its head, it just ricocheted off. The lion roared and charged. What followed was a brutal hand-to-hand fight. The lion's claws tore into Hercules' flesh, but he wrapped his arms around its neck and squeezed until the beast stopped breathing. Then he skinned it using its own claws and wore the pelt as armor. When Eurystheus saw him coming back dressed in lion skin, he literally hid in a bronze barrel out of fear. For the second labor, Eurystheus sent him after the Hydra, this nightmare creature living in a swamp. Hercules and his nephew found it in a cave and lured it out with flaming arrows. The Hydra had multiple heads, all trying to bite him at once. Hercules smashed one head with his club, and two more grew back. He kept smashing, making it worse. His nephew yelled at him to stop. That's when they figured it out. Cauterized the necks after cutting the heads. So they worked together, Hercules crushing heads while his nephew burned the stumps with a torch. Hera even sent giant crabs to help the Hydra, but Hercules just crushed those too. After killing the Hydra, he dipped his arrows in its toxic blood. Now he had weapons that could kill anything. The third and fourth labors were capture missions. Eurystheus wanted the Ceryneian hind brought back alive, this sacred deer with golden horns and bronze hooves. Hercules spent over a year tracking it before finally wounding its leg with an arrow. When the goddess Artemis showed up angry, he explained his situation, and she let him continue. Then came the Erymanthian boar, this massive aggressive beast. Hercules couldn't kill it, so he used his brain instead. He chased it into deep snow until the animal was so exhausted it couldn't move. He tied it up and dragged it back. Eurystheus saw it and dove right back into his barrel. Now, Eurystheus tried something different. If he couldn't kill Hercules with monsters, maybe he could break his spirit. For the fifth labor, he ordered him to clean the Augean stables in one day. These stables hadn't been cleaned in years and were piled high with manure from thousands of cattle. It was degrading work beneath a hero, but Hercules' need for redemption was stronger than his pride. He went to King Augeas and made a deal. Clean the stables in one day, get paid 1/10 of the king's herd. Augeas agreed because he thought it was impossible. Instead of using a shovel, Hercules diverted an entire river through the stables. The water blasted through, cleaning everything. His hands stayed spotless. When Augeas refused to pay up, Hercules came back later with an army and put the king's honest son on the throne. Instead, the sixth labor sent him to Lake Stymphalia to deal with man-eating birds. There were hundreds of them, maybe thousands. Athena gave him a special bronze instrument that made this horrible noise. Hercules climbed a hill and started playing it. The sound was so awful the birds flew away in terror, and he shot them down with his poisoned arrows as they fled. Next came the Cretan bull, the father of the Minotaur. This wasn't just any bull. It was possessed with uncontrollable rage from Poseidon. Hercules grabbed it by the horns, slammed it to the ground, and shipped it back to Eurystheus. The eighth labor took him to Thrace to capture the man-eating horses of King Diomedes. This king was feeding visitors to his horses, which had developed a taste for human flesh. Hercules killed the king and fed him to his own horses. The animals calmed down after eating their master, which is pretty dark when you think about it. But during the fight with the king's soldiers, one of Hercules' friends got eaten by the horses. He founded a city in his friend's honor for the ninth labor. Eurystheus' spoiled daughter wanted the belt of Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons. Hercules sailed to their kingdom, and surprisingly, Hippolyta was willing to just give it to him. They were being diplomatic, civilized even. But Hera couldn't let that happen. She disguised herself, spread rumors that Hercules was planning to kidnap the queen, and started a war. The battle was bloody. Hippolyta died in the fighting. Hercules took her belt and left. On the way back, he stopped in Troy where a king had refused to pay Poseidon. The king's daughter was about to be sacrificed to a sea monster. Hercules killed the monster, but the king refused to pay him too. Hercules swore revenge and left. He'd come back to Troy later in life and make good on that promise. The 10th labor sent him to the edge of the known world to steal the cattle of Geryon, a giant with multiple bodies. The journey was so far that Hercules had to split a mountain in two to connect the Mediterranean to the Atlantic. That split became the Strait of Gibraltar. He killed Geryon's two-headed dog, then Geryon himself with a poisoned arrow, and brought the cattle home. For the 11th labor, he had to get golden apples from the garden of Hesperides, guarded by a dragon. On the way, he freed Prometheus from his eternal punishment and met Atlas, who was holding up the sky. Atlas agreed to get the apples if Hercules held the sky for a bit. When Atlas came back, he said he'd deliver the apples himself, planning to leave Hercules holding the sky forever. But Hercules tricked him. Sure, but let me just grab my lion pelt to cushion my shoulders first. Atlas took the sky back, and Hercules grabbed the Eurystheus had one last shot. For the 12th labor, he sent Hercules to the underworld to bring back Cerberus, Hades' three-headed guard dog. This was supposed to be impossible. You don't just walk into the realm of the dead and walk back out. But Hercules did. With Hermes as his guide, he descended into Hades. He freed his friend Theseus, who'd been chained there as punishment. Then he asked Hades himself for permission to borrow Cerberus. Hades said yes, but only if Hercules could subdue the beast with his bare hands. The fight was brutal. Cerberus had 3 heads and a serpent for a tail. But Hercules overpowered it, dragged it to the surface, and brought it to Eurystheus. When the king saw the 3-headed monster from hell standing in his throne room, he ran screaming into his barrel. Hercules had done it. All 12 labors complete. Eurystheus released him from service. The hero had reached the peak of his glory. But his story wasn't over. More adventures awaited before he'd finally earn his place among the gods on Mount Olympus. And that's the real story of Hercules, not the sanitized version. A story about guilt, redemption, and what it takes to overcome the impossible when the gods themselves are against